How's it going, people? Today I am talking about 1917 on Blu-ray and 4K. I could not wait for this movie, so I will get straight into the movie itself first. This is one that I absolutely wanted to see in theaters. I could not, and I regret it because I really did like this movie. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. And you know what? I'm just going to specify this right now. If you are going to this movie and expecting to learn a lot about what happened in 1917, a lot of the background of why this film and why this time in history took place, or things about the characters in this film. If you are here to learn about that, this is not that movie. This is not a character study. This is not a study on a place and time. This movie is about a thrill ride. It's about a rush. And it is really about the technical aspects of this film. And this movie can feel kind of cold in that way. There aren't a lot of human moments in this movie. But what this movie does, it does expertly well. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I really do love it. If you didn't know, this movie wasn't shot all in one take, of course, but it gives the illusion that it was all in one take. And for that, you know, this movie was shot by Roger Deakins, and it just looks gorgeous. I'm going to go into that later. I really did love this movie. It is a war movie that I feel like I'm going to come back to a little bit more often just because it isn't just so heavy. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And getting into the video quality here, starting off with the Blu-ray, this movie looks fantastic, and it should. This movie was shot digitally. There is some artificial grain put here to give us some of that 1917 grit. But, you know what? That doesn't take away from everything. I feel like the fine lines here are crisp and clear. And I feel like the separation from the foreground to the background is really good for a Blu-ray. And as far as detail goes, this is where it really steps it up. Because, you know, you have just dirt flying up and flying past your characters in intense situations, and you can see a lot of detail when it comes to facial features and in stitches on clothing, and a lot of the areas that you would look for a period piece, where you would look at a period piece for detail. I feel like this movie really does give that to you. The surroundings and just the overall landscape here. You get a lot of wide shots. And I feel like they take so much advantage of those wide shots, providing you with such detail that it is incredible. I really did like the way this Blu-ray looked, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And as far as the 4K copy here goes, this movie was actually given a 4K digital intermediate. So this is native 4K. This was shot in 4K. That is awesome. And on top of that, we are also given Dolby Vision support. And let me tell you that it's going to make all the difference. Clarity here is even better than that Blu-ray, and where you're going to really notice it is in the separation from the foreground to the background. I feel like that got even wider here. You know, it's almost 3D. It's great. And when you're talking about the detail work, it just gives you that little extra more. Those little extra fibers on the clothing and the little extra grit on the ground and a lot of just the haziness from explosions. That is one thing that you will notice. You can see a lot more detail through those hazier elements in 4K. Where everybody wants to check this out for is the HDR for this 4K release. It is awesome. It is a Dolby Vision showcase here. Blacks are so inky and just so perfect with Dolby Vision. It is great. And a lot of just the murkier elements have so much more fine tuning here that it just makes the color palette not look so drab and so blah. It livens it up so much here. And when you get into the explosions and the action scenes, literally this color palette comes to life, and it really pops just because it is such a stark contrast to the way that the rest of this movie looks. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. It is amazing. And I'll tell you another thing that is amazing is this Dolby Atmos track that you can get on Blu-ray and 4K, and it is incredible. It is something to marvel at. Speaker separation here is just lovely. It is top-notch. Explosions going from left to right, front to center, back. Awesome. And when you're talking about bass response here, it is hefty, hefty, hefty. Intense is the word, and it will rattle your entire house. Height speaker work is aggressive here. You will hear planes over your head. You will hear explosions that fly past you over your head as well. You will hear characters over your head at times when you're in ditches, and you just hear claustrophobic atmosphere when you are in underground bunkers. This is great. Amazing work. 10 out of 10. And this digital copy here is a Movies Anywhere digital copy, which means that you can download the 4K copy on iTunes and on Vudu. I feel like I say this a lot, but that is how Movies Anywhere works. And when you're talking about special features, I will say that they give us something that we don't normally get a lot, and that is all of the special features on the 4K disc. And that is something special. So what you do have is 2 audio commentaries, I believe. There are 2 of them. And they are excellent. They are informative. And a whole lot of featurettes about the making of the film. And they actually go and fill in a little bit more of the background to what actually went on in 1917 that the movie actually is too fast-paced to get into. And you know what? For that, I'm actually going to give this an 8 out of 10. I feel like there's a decent amount here. And as my last looks at 1917, this movie is an adrenaline rush. It is a showstopper, and it is the kind of action movie, war movie for action junkies. And I can be into that, even though this isn't the deepest war movie out there. I can be about that, and that is what this movie's about. Technically, this movie is a marvel, and Roger Deakins absolutely deserves all of his accolades for what he accomplished here. And I feel like, even more than Sam Mendes, the real star of the show here is Roger Deakins. And when you add up all my scores for 1917, you get a very high grade on Blu-ray of a 36 out of 40, and an even higher grade of a 37 out of 40 on 4K. I just felt like the 4K video quality was just a little stepped up from the Blu-ray. And coming up next on the channel, I do have a great surprise coming for you guys. In the matter of fact, I am so glad I got my copy of 1917 early, and that way I can just focus on what is coming, because it is huge, it is big. Stay tuned to the channel, and the matter of fact, just comment down below and just guess what it is, because I'm pretty sure you guys are going to get it, but it's going to be a big undertaking that I am going to get into, and I need some time to get it done. So if you're excited about everything that is happening, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't need to say it because you know it, and I will see all of you next time.